Hello friends, welcome back to the NCERT sessions. In this video, I am going to explain chapter 3 of class 7 NCERT. Title of the chapter is Our Changing Earth. Here you can see the lithosphere, which is broken into number of plates known as lithospheric plates. Why this movement happens? Because మనకు తెలిసినట్టుగా below the crust magma ఉంటుంది. సో ఈ molten magma అనేది semi liquid form లో ఉంటుంది. So the movement of this magma is responsible for the movement of these lithospheric plates. Because of the movement of the plates, we have certain changes on the earth's surface. So the earth movements are divided on the basis of forces which cause them. So there are two types of forces. One is endogenic forces and the other is exogenic forces. Endogenic forces ante entante the movement which takes place in the interior of the earth due to the movement of the magma. So దీన్ని మనం endogenic forces అంటాం. The forces that work on the surface of the earth is called exogenic forces. So here you can see earth movements are two types, endogenic forces and exogenic forces. So in endogenic forces we have sudden forces like earthquake, volcano, landslides, and we have diastrophic forces, means slow forces, for example building mountains. Next we have exogenic forces. These are erosional and depositional, like by river, wind, sea waves and glaciers. Moving on to here, we have lithospheric plates definition. The earth's crust consists of several large and some small rigid irregularly shaped plates which carry continents and ocean floors. As we saw before, endogenic forces sometimes produce sudden movements like earthquakes, volcanoes, etc. So next, coming to volcano. What is a volcano? It is a vent or opening in the earth's crust through which molten material erupts suddenly. So మనం ఇక్కడ చూస్తే కనుక this is mantle, this is crust. సో ఇక్కడ మనకి మ్యాగ్మా ఛాంబర్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. సో ఈ మ్యాగ్మా అనేది బయటకి ఎరప్ట్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు sometimes it goes back, it comes out like this. సో ఇలా వచ్చే దీన్ని వెంట్ అని అంటాం. And some lava spreads sideways and again comes down. Magma which is cooled down is called lava. On the earth crust ఉన్న opening ni crater antam, and we get gases and ashes outside. Similarly, when lithospheric plates move on the surface of the earth vibrates. So this vibration can travel all over the earth. So ఈ vibrations ni మనం earthquakes అని అంటాం. ఎక్కడైతే మూమెంట్ స్టార్ట్ అయిందో దాన్ని మనం ఫోకస్ అని అంటాం. హియర్ యూ క్యాన్ సీ వే ద మూమెంట్ ఈజ్ ఒరిజినేటెడ్, దాన్ని మనం ఫోకస్ అని అంటాం. And exactly above the focus we have epicenter, which is on the surface of the earth. So vibration always travels outwards from the epicenter in the form of waves. ఎక్కువ డ్యామేజ్ అనేది ఎప్పుడు ఈ ఎపిసెంటర్ చుట్టూ జరుగుతుంది. Here you can see there are three types of earthquake waves. So one is P waves or longitudinal waves, second is S waves or transverse waves, third is L waves or surface waves. Here we have seismograph. So an earthquake is measured with a machine called seismograph. The magnitude of the earthquake is measured on the Richter scale. సో ఏదైనా earthquake 2.0 or less ఉంటే కనుక దాన్ని లిటిల్ earthquakeగా మనము అనుకుంటాం. An earthquake over 5.0 can cause damage from things falling. సో 6.0 or higher magnitude ఉన్న దాన్ని స్ట్రాంగ్ earthquakeగా మనం భావిస్తాము. And 7.0 is classified as a major earthquake. So here we have some precautions of earthquakes which is important in the disaster management point of view. Safe spot, stay away from fire and all, be prepared. Next we have major landforms. So the landscape is being continuously worn away by two processes, weathering and erosion. So what is weathering? Weathering is the breaking up of the rocks on the earth's surface. Erosion is the, so what is erosion? Erosion is the wearing away of the landscape by different agents like water, wind and ice. Eroded material is carried away or transported by water, wind, etc. and they are again deposited. This process of erosion and deposition create different landforms on the surface of the earth. So we will see it one by one. We have work of a river. Running water in the river erodes the landscape. Like river eppudu move avutune untundi kada, so it erodes the land behind it. Again here you can see when the water comes at a steep angle over and over a very hard rocks, it is called waterfall. For example, this is hard rock, this is soft rock. When the water falls from here, it erodes this soft rock and forms a waterfall. Here you can see there are thousands of small waterfalls in the wall. The highest waterfall is Angel Falls of Venezuela in South America. So other waterfalls like Niagara Falls located between the border of Canada and USA in North America, and Victoria Falls on the borders of Zambia and Zimbabwe in Africa. Next we have meanders, very important. What is meanders? As a river enters the plain, it twists and turns, forming large bends known as meanders. See, this is a plain, you don't have any slopes here, so water moving like this shape is called meander. So when the water moves, it erodes the plain. Due to the continuous erosion and deposition taking place, some places are cutted down here, and here it formed a lake. This is called Oxbow Lake. Why this happened? Because initially the river will be like this. Initially the river flows like this, but due to the depositions here, all the sediments are formed here and the river started flowing like this. Hence here formed a lake. So these types of lakes are called Oxbow lakes. Sometimes the river overflows its banks. It leads to the flooding of the neighboring areas. So as it floods, all the depositions of fine soil and material called sediments comes to the banks. This leads to the formation of a flat, fertile floodplain. Another important point here is levees. Means, see, when the river is flowing like this, depositions are taking place in the side waves, and these side banks are raised up. These raised up banks are called levees. Next we have delta here. So when river enters the sea, the salt water in the sea doesn't allow the river water to take its depositions into the sea. So all the depositions are stopped there and thus forms delta. Next we have work of sea waves. So the erosion and deposition of the sea waves gives rise to coastal landforms. Sea waves continuously strikes the rocks, so cracks developed. Over the time period they become larger and wider. Thus hollow-like caves are formed on the rocks. These are called sea caves. So here you can see there is a rock. Due to the continuous wave movement, there is a cave formed. This is called sea cave. Again, as these caves becomes bigger and bigger, thus forms sea arcs. Again and again these sea waves hit the rock. Further erosion breaks the roof and only walls are left. These wall-like features are called stakes. Here you can see these stakes. So some rocks, they will rise almost vertically above the seawater, which is called sea cliff. The sea waves deposit sediments along the shores, forming beaches. And then you have work of ice. As you all know, glaciers. What are glaciers? Glaciers are rivers of ice which too erode the landscape by bulldozing soil and stones to expose the solid rock below. So when the ice moves due to the gravitational force, or when the ice melts at high temperatures, the ice started moving and it will erode the surface. So the material carried by the glaciers, such as rocks, sand, silt, gets deposited. These depositions form glacial moraines. Next you have work of wind. So in the deserts, an active agent of erosion and deposition is wind. In deserts, you can see rocks in the shape of mushroom, commonly called as mushroom rocks. For example, see, this is a rock. Wind comes and hits like this. The rock becomes like this. These types of rocks are called mushroom rocks. Such rocks have narrower base and wider top. Then coming to sand dunes. When the wind blows, it lifts and transports sand from one place to another. When it stops blowing, the sand falls and gets deposited in low hill-like structures. These are called sand dunes. So here you can see some wavy shaped dunes. These are called sand dunes. So when such sand is deposited in large areas, it is called loess. These are mainly found in China. Okay, by this we completed chapter 3 of class 7th NCERT. Thank you.